Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. This is going to be a webinar about the new Leadership Institute that the Region 6 Public Health Training Center is launching. So I'm going to go through a set of slides, and at the end we'll have questions and answers. My name is Lou Ann White, and I have been the director of the South Central Leadership Institute, or the South Central Training Center, for quite a while. And this year we're launching the new Leadership Institute. Okay, next slide. So what we're going to do today, well, first let's introduce ourselves. I'm Lou Ann White. I am the co-PI. I have been associated with the Public Health Training Center since it began, and we've assembled a great team. So we're going to let the team introduce themselves. Dr. Murphy?
Hi, everyone. I'm Stephen Murphy. I'm here on screen with David here. I'm the co-principal investigator, and I have about 15 years of public health emergency preparedness experience in the health security enterprise. And I joined Dr. White's team in 2018 when I became faculty at Tulane, and I run the Disaster Management Masters of Public Health program here at Tulane. Angela?
Hi, everybody. Good day. I'm Angela Breckenridge. I am a clinical assistant professor in the Social, Behavioral, and Population Sciences Department at the School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine, and I've been consulting on leadership institutes and leadership programs for executives and for public health and for students and for the military for about 22 years now. And pleased to see you all here. I'll pass it to Robert.
Robert, you're on mute.
There we go. Hey, hello again. I'm Romeo Barrera, and I am the center's administrator, and I've been here for 20 plus years, and we're really excited about creating this training center, and it's going to be, I think, a really great program for those who are lucky enough to be chosen to participate, and we're looking forward to it. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Chuck Shorter. I'm a program manager with the center, and I'm the coordinator for the Region 6 Public Health Training Center. I got here a couple minutes after Robert, so I've been here 20 plus years too. I'll be, I think, the person that our cohort will go to for kind of administrative kind of stuff along with Robert. And I look forward to working with everyone in the cohort on Leadership Institute.
Hey everybody, my name is David Mora. I'm the Learning Management System Administrator and an Instructional Designer for the Region 6. I've been here 8 years. I will be helping out with the technical aspects of the Leadership Institute with the Learning Management System. So if there are any kind of technical issues or whatnot, you'll be talking to me most likely. So I'm looking forward to getting this cohort started in this fall.
Janine?
Hi, my name is Janine Clark, and I'm an instructional designer here at the training center, and I'll speak on behalf of me and Stacy, who's on vacation. And so we are responsible for making sure the content is easy to understand and looks nice on the LMS for you to understand. So, and Stacy is the one who does all the lovely graphics and media for our trainings.
Okay, thank you. I have to say, we have a wonderful team, and there's nothing that somebody can't help you with. So, and if the person you call is not the right one, they'll put you in touch with whoever it is. But we have all the bases covered. Well, today, I'm going to relate a little bit of the background of the South Central Public Health Training Center. Then I'm going to explain the purpose and the approach of the Leadership Institute. We'll talk a little bit about the characteristics and eligibility for participants. Then I'll relate some of the operational and logistical issues for how we'll manage the Leadership Institute. I'll show you a list of topics that we'll go through, and they're leadership topics. They're not content topics. And we'll describe the support for the two-lane learning management system and e-portfolio. We've set up a great infrastructure. And then we'll take questions. So any question you may have, if you'd save it till the end, and we'll take it then. So our history. Some of you may know, but others may not be acquainted with us. We were funded here at Tulane as a public health training center back in the year 2000 by HRSA, and we've been funded continuously ever since. Now, during that time, we've had many different organizations and activities, but we started out with a partnership among Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Arkansas. And so we had that partnership for about 14 years, and it was going great. During that time, we decided that we would use asynchronous delivery for most of our training, although early on we had some person-to-person. But the reason was we had to cover a big area. We found that the people who needed training were not those who often were funded to travel. It took time, and asynchronous made things available by demand when they were needed. And so over the years, we've evolved to where we're almost totally asynchronous training just because it's more efficient, cost-effective, and then people have what they need whenever they want it. We also had early on Leadership Institute from around 2002 to 2008. It was funded separately as a joint endeavor with CDC, and then that was discontinued around 2008. In 2014, HRSA had a major reorganization of the training centers. Before, they were mostly state-centered. We here had a consortium of a couple of states because we were small states and we had a lot of partners with the same issues. But they reorganized according to regions, and we were in the new region. We were taking over Region 6, and so we had some new partners. So the states in Region 6 are Arkansas, Louisiana, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Texas. And so we've built new partnerships, and we have a great group of partners now in Region 6. And then in 2020, in the competitive RFA that came out, HRSA added a learning institute as part of the scope for the regional PhDs. DCs, I have to say, but they didn't add any funding. So we've added this in, and so while we've had a Leadership Institute in the past, what we're doing now is really totally different, and it's much more attuned to today than our other one was. Next slide. So I'm sure you all know Region 6. It's in the orange here. So we cover Region 6, and we really focus on Region 6. But I have to say that our audience is nationwide, even international. We have a very active learning management system, and we have over 200 professional development courses on there with an annual enrollment of about 22,000 each year. So our courses are widely used. I'm just going to let you read the slide because it's too big, but this is a list of our community-based training partners that we have formalized relationships with them. We also have informal relations with others who may come to us with other activities or want us to partner with them. We're always open to partnering, and we're always looking for how we can work with others to really enhance the public health practitioners across Region 6 and even across the country. Next slide. So our mission. It's basically, it's very simple to increase the capacity of the public health workforce. And we do that by professional development for the workforce, mainly through our asynchronous courses. It's to train the future public health workforce, and we have student field placements and internships that we do every year, which if you are looking for interns, we have a couple open, so you might contact us if you want a student intern that we might support financially. And then we do technical assistance to most anyone who asks us. And we're frequently providing technical assistance to others who are trying to set up training or who need training done. Like I said, we're always here to help and to form new partnerships. But our major activities and our scope of the grant are the professional development courses, our student field placements, now the Leadership Institute that we're launching, and we think this one is going to be really, really good. Next one. So the purpose of the leadership, we're focusing on the next generation of leaders. We're looking at emerging leaders in the workforce. Many of Leadership Institute focus on those who are already in executive or high administrative positions, and that's fine. But our curriculum is designed for the mid-career public health practitioner. We say mid-career because we're saying 5 years of experience, because we want our participants to have some experience, so when they come in, they have a frame of reference. This isn't for someone who just started, who's just out of college, or who's just has never been in public health. These are for our mid-career people who are poised to move to the next level, and we hope this will be a bootstrap up for their professional growth and give them some skills that will help them in their career advancement. Our approach is that we will have virtual sessions, so there's no travel required. So while we would like to bring everyone in and we all have a nice get-together and sit with each other, the budget won't allow for it. So everything will be virtual. But we also know from the past it's very hard to get everybody together on the same day at the same time. It's nearly impossible. We've designed a curriculum that's very practice-oriented. The curriculum was developed by a set of focus groups and key informant interviews from leaders in Region 6. And they related to us the skills that they're looking for in future leaders. So our curriculum is really informed by what are the needs in Region 6. So our Leadership Institute will probably be a little bit different than a lot of them, because we're really intent on focusing on our Region 6 and our public health leaders here. We hope to establish a community of learning and network across the region. So we'll have activities within our sessions that will let you get to know others across the region. And what we found from our other distance learning programs is that our students can become quite close to people, even though they may never meet them and they do virtually. But hopefully this network will be something that in future years you can draw upon when there's issues in your state or there's other things you want feedback on. You'll have a cadre of colleagues that you will know and that you can feel free to speak to get advice from, to give them advice. There's no fees or tuition associated with this. So this is supported by our HRSA grant, so it is free. However, what we ask is, if you're selected, we want a commitment to actively attend and participate in the leadership. It's designed to be very interactive, so if you don't show up and you say, I'll just listen to the recording, you're not going to get the most out of it. So we want to have that active commitment from you. So what are some of the characteristics that we're looking for? So as I said, mid-career professionals with some kind of mid-level supervisory responsibility and or experience. So we want those who have some experience, but not necessarily those in the top leadership positions. You must work in Region 6. There are leadership institutes in each of the other regions. So those who live in one of the other regions can avail themselves of the Public Health Training Center leadership institutes that are in the other regions. So this is strictly for those employed in Region 6. And there's a preference for those who are in public health or healthcare, governmental, tribal, and nonprofit agencies and organizations. For those, for eligibility, we don't have any educational requirements. So we'll take people from all different areas, all different walks of life, all different areas of public health. It could be community health workers, it could be section managers, So there's no educational requirements. As I said, a commitment to actively participate. I can't say how important that is because we're designing this with interactive exercises, and if you don't participate, then you're not going to be building the skills that we would like you to come out with. You will need the ability to devote approximately 3 hours per week to the Institute. So there'll be live sessions and there'll be work in between that should not take more than 3 hours, but you'll need to be able to devote it. We know sometimes life happens, but when you sign up and you agree to participate, think about that. We also want a supervisor agreement to allow 3 hours per week during the workday to do leadership activities. This was one of the key things that came out of our focus groups, that it was important that to ask people to do it after work or on Saturdays was just not feasible. And we've had really 100% agreement in that. So we're asking for a supervisor agreement as part of the application process. Next slide. Okay, so we're launching this in this fall. So we're taking applications now. We focus on current public health topics and issues and on leadership types of topics. This isn't a content area, it's for leadership skills. So we'll focus on building different skills for the practice applications. So that kinds of activities are those cross-cutting skills such as communication, interpersonal skills, mentoring, problem solving, as opposed to a content area. We hope that during this time, during this year, you will expand your vision as you build leadership skills. So what we want to do is to present more of the bigger picture, but yet give skills in the details so that you'll have a mix of how to carry out detailed types of activities, but expand your horizons. The sessions are designed to be very dynamic, interactive sessions, so we'll have pre-work so that you come in prepared, and then we'll have discussion, we'll have expert panels, people who are in practice who can impart great wisdom will be our guest speakers. And then there'll be hands-on exercises and practice for skill development. So here's some of the topics. You can look on the website to see the exact topics, and just for space, I've kind of condensed some of them. But one of the first things we start out with is a self-assessment for emotional intelligence. And just looking into this, I've learned a lot. But this will give you some aspect of your leadership style, and it will help you as a leader to know how the style that you're comfortable with. You might recognize other people's style, and it will set the tone for the whole thing. And so we'll go through this whole list. There'll be sessions on mentoring, on health disparities. We have 3 sessions on communications. This came out in our focus group as being a prime area. So we'll have some basics in communication, we'll have some skill building, and then we'll have one session on how to manage in this world where there's so much misinformation, disinformation, politics that are interfering with our communications. So there'll be a whole session on that. We'll talk about systems thinking and organizational skills. There'll be 2 or 3 of these. And then leadership skills for you and your organization, and then crisis leadership. So there'll be a range of skills, and each one of these will have some kind of activity to help you develop those skills. So our formatting, we will start we're taking applications now, and you'll be informed in mid to late June if you're accepted into the Leadership Institute. So beginning in early August, we'll start our pre-work, and this will entail a self-assessment. It will be a survey. It'll be conducted by a professional group who are a group of psychologists and counselors who do this professionally. And you'll do a confidential assessment that's only for you. You'll do a survey and then have a one-on-one session with the counselor for feedback. This is part of the Know Yourself activity, and you'll find it invaluable. Then in mid-August, each participant will create an individual plan. It's really goal setting. What are your goals for this? So that as you go through this, and we go through these topics, what are the things you would like to work on? What are the skills that you feel you yourself would like more of? So, and then we'll use that at the end to see if you have attained it. So it'll be pre-goal setting, and then at the end, we'll have to see an evaluation to see if you attain some of those goals. So the leadership sessions itself begin September 7th. August is our preparatory month where you'll have activities, but those will be on your own time. But September 7th to May 2nd, with a holiday break around Christmas time. We all need a break in the middle of the year, so this will give us all time to catch our breath. So there'll be virtual live sessions. These will be held every other week starting September 7th. It'll be by Zoom, by the same mechanism that we're using now. The sessions will be approximately 2.5 to 3 hours in length, so you will need to be able to set aside that time. As I said before, there'll be interactive, we'll have experts. You'll be able to do some interaction with your peers who are in the cohort, and work on joint projects as well as individual projects. We feel that there'll be a lot of peer-to-peer learning. When we've done some of our distance learning things, we found that our students bring in such great experiences and knowledge, and that by sharing them, you will learn more and about your peers that'll be really down-to-earth, good information. And then at the end, there'll be a short evaluation. Every session we will evaluate because your feedback will then shape how we go forward. You know, if we're doing something good, we want to know it. If we're doing something not so hot, let us know because we can fix it. This is our first time through this Leadership Institute, so your feedback is going to be really important after each session. Then on the off week, on the other week, there'll be activities that won't exceed 3 hours. We're being very careful in what we ask you to do, that it not exceed this 3 hours. So there'll be two kinds of activities. One is a follow-up exercise or some kind of activity that will reinforce the prior session. It'll maybe problem solving, it may be skill building, but it will be sessions. For example, in the communications session, you might prepare a little presentation and record it. You might write a policy brief that will be developing your skills. Then you will put that product, whatever that product is, into the e-portfolio. So this will be a record of all your work that's done throughout the Leadership Institute. The second activity is to prepare for the upcoming session. And this, again, it may be a recorded module, a video, a reading, but something that will give us all a body of information that can then be used in our discussions and debates. We're doing this because we're not going to take time and go through a set of slides and try to teach you something. We want this to be thinking. So you'll have to do a little pre-work so that we're all on the same page. And you can think about it a little bit. So I'm anticipating we'll have some very active and very vigorous discussions. And we'll have experts in the field who will be able to give you feedback. So on the off week, you can do this with whatever time you want, but you still need to set aside 3 hours every week. Part of it is the live session, and then the other part is the prep work. So since we've been a training center for so long, one of our real strengths here is that we have a great infrastructure and great technology. So our learning management system, which many of you may be familiar with because if you've taken our courses, you go to our learning management system that gives you our catalog, you take the courses, and it generates a transcript of every course that you've ever taken. Well, we're going to use that as a hub for information for the Leadership Institute. We'll have a portal to it, so you'll have one place to go. We'll post all the information there because we're all dispersed. One of our big goals in this is to communicate actively with you so that you know what's going on, you have a place to go for all the assignments, and then you'll have within that an individual e-portfolio to where you submit your work. You'll get feedback on that work, and then you can have your final work there as a example of the skills that you've developed for your job, for future jobs, for whatever you want to use it for. Next slide. So the technical requirements. If you're listening to this seminar, then you already have them. You need to have a computer with a microphone and a camera. We want a camera because we think it's good to look at somebody, to have them look at your cohorts, and a microphone so that you can actively participate. And we put a stable internet connection. The reason we did that is some of us here in the city of New Orleans don't have stable internet. We have to find a place where we can have internet. So, and then it's desirable to have a quiet place where you can go in your office, shut the door, and just focus on this for the 3 hours. So, participating. So by enrolling, as I've said a couple of times, because it's really important, is that you'll actively participate in the discussions and the debate and the live sessions. So to do that, you'll have to prepare for each session, and then there'll be follow-up activities, and those follow-up activities are meant to be skill building, because it takes practice sometimes to get these skills. So, and we're going to be judicious. This isn't going to be hoop jumping. This is going to be, focused on can you learn to write a little bit better? Can you speak a little bit better? Looking at your organization and seeing and understanding your organization and the systems within your organization. So all the sessions will be recorded. We expect everybody to attend, but we know occasionally life may happen, so it'll be recorded. But if it's recorded, you're not participating. You can listen. So we highly encourage everybody to participate. We've had overwhelming interest in this, so if your life is such that you don't think you can spend the time, maybe next year might be better instead of this year. So if you come into this, we really want to make use of your time and our time in participation. So at the end of the leadership, you'll get a certificate of achievement suitable for framing. It'll be pretty. And you need to successfully complete the entire Leadership Institute and activities. You'll have your e-portfolio with examples of showing your skills. Many employers like to look at this because it's examples of your work, and it's a good way to show that you really have developed these skills. And then you'll have a network of peers across Region 6 who are in your cohort. And you can say, I'm in cohort 1. And you'll have people you can call. As future years, as we get more cohorts, we will hope to interdigitate each cohort with newer ones. But it's the beginning of a network that we hope that you can use for your entire career. So applications are open. I think we've put the link to the site in the chat, but you can go to the website. You can get a lot more information than what I'm able to give here, and you can do it. Now, you must have a completed application before it can be reviewed, and the completed application is the completed application form, which gives us some basic information. You need to attach a CV that is a record of your work and your professional accomplishments. And then a supervisor endorsement. The supervisor will hopefully give you an endorsement that as why they think that this would be beneficial for you. And most importantly, the supervisor commits to allowing you the 3 hours per week for the Leadership Institute. So, for more information, I will open this up for questions, if anybody has any questions, and also for my colleagues here, if anyone else has anything to add. So, Anybody have any questions? Anything that you're thinking about that you would like to know, or about the Leadership Institute, or about the Training Center, or any other kind of information?
Hi, this is Shahid. I have a question.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm from University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences. I mean, I'm doing my PhD. So I have a question about the application process. There I noticed a person can apply and also can get nominated. So can a person apply by himself and also get nominated by somebody else from his workplace? Can these both be done?
Yes, a supervisor can nominate someone if they want to, and then, but we are looking for people who are in public health practice. So you may be a PhD student, but if you're also engaged in public health practice, then that would be appropriate. If you're only a student, then this is really for practitioners.
Okay, understood.
And
But
just to expand on that a little bit,
Sure.
I'm sorry, but yeah, just to expand on that a little bit, the nomination form is not required. You know, you can apply as the applicant, and we'll receive the application and eventually your supervisor endorsement without a nomination form, and that's fine.
Okay, that's kind of clear. Understood.
What we were doing is to try to cast a really big net. So if somebody had somebody they would like to nominate who might be reluctant to apply, that was an avenue. But most people just apply directly themselves, which is certainly welcome. Any other tidbits?
Other questions?
Hi, this is Nikisha Singleton from LSU Health Sciences Center. I was just wondering, how large are the cohort sizes?
Our cohort is going to be between 20 and 25.
Okay.
Hey, this is Matilda Silverberg with Louisiana Public Health Institute. I was curious, are y'all hoping for do you have a geographic goal, I guess, like representation from each state or anything like that?
Okay, so what we would like to have is representation from each of our 5 states. We serve 5 states, so we would like to have people from across the entire region. And our region is it's got so many different areas. It's so big. I mean, we go from the swamps of Louisiana to the mountains and deserts of New Mexico. And in there we have just every public health situation you can think of. You know, demographically, we have the tribes, we have Hispanic populations, we have African American populations, we have rural, we have frontier, we have urban. So while we don't have any kind of set pattern, we do hope that our cohort is representative of our region. If there's any text. Okay, do you have any other questions?
Yes, my name is Callan McDaniel. I'm the grant coordinator with Hardin County Health Services in Texas. I meet every requirement except for the 5-year cap. Is that, are we being harsh on that? Is like it's the 5-year minimum for sure?
Okay, so what we do is, what the 5 years is meant to be that you have experience in public health. So, you know, I would go on and apply, and that's why the CV is so important, because one of the things we found in looking at some of our applicants is they often are not including all their experiences. So some of it may be in public health, some of it may be in other areas that you may not think are public health, but are really related. So that's why the CV is so important.
Thank you.
And I think we talked with one of your director from Hardin County was one of the persons in our interviews who gave us some totally great information that we've incorporated in this. So we'd love to have Hardin County in this.
Well, my application will be coming through, and I'm excited, and thank y'all for the information.
Thank
Look
you
forward to
for
seeing it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Does any of the team have anything that we left out you think might be interesting, little tidbits?
I have a quick question. This is Courtney from the Department of State Health Services in Texas. And I apologies if you mentioned this before, but I know you're actively accepting applications right now. Are y'all, and there's only for like 20 spots, I think. How, I guess, are you are filling them as they come in, or is it like a different kind of system?
Well, our review criteria is that we've set up our review criteria, which are pretty much follow the eligibility criteria that we've given you, and we review each application and we rank it. Then we had said our applications were open till June 15th, so we'll look at all of the people and then we'll rank them and then we'll accept the top 25. So we would encourage those who want to apply to go on and submit their applications, because we're starting our reviews next week, but we will continue to review them until June 15th.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Hi, this is Danielle Bryant, also with Department of State Health Services in Texas. Just to kind of follow up on Courtney's question as well. So after y'all have selected, based on your ranking, is there going to be other sessions after this? And would you retain those applications and go back to that pile, or would somebody need to resubmit an application for the next cohort?
Okay, so we will have a second cohort starting in fall 2024. And if we have some applications that are, and we'll also keep some waiting applications, because sometimes people sign up and then they just can't make it. But we'll keep those, and we will ask those people if they want to if they want to keep their application in, update their application, because during a year a lot can happen, so they'll be in for the review for the second cohort, and then we'll at least have another third cohort after that.
Okay, great, thanks.
And I'll just add that everyone will also get a letter to let them know their status on it, okay?
I guess I do have another question. This is Danielle Bryan again, Texas Department of State Health Services. So if you're going to do approximately 20-25 per cohort, and you're hoping to get representation across each of the 5 states as part of your plan to maybe have around 5 from each of the states, or 5 slots, or is it just, are y'all going to be grading, you know, based on your criteria, and doesn't matter what state they're from?
It's going to be based on the criteria, not just the state. We're not just going to allocate it 5 each state, because Texas is gigantic and our other states are tiny. And so we have some states that are very active and others that are not. So while we hope to have, you know, representation, it's unlikely it would be 5, 5, 5.
Okay, thanks.
The major criteria is that you are in one of those 5 states. So.
Any other questions?
Well, I have to say, we're really excited about this Leadership Institute. We've been working on it for this entire year, in really sifting through the curriculum and working very hard to make it practice-oriented. This isn't going to be like school. This is going to be like getting with your colleagues and discussing really beefy topics. And we hope it's going to be fun. So that's why we want your feedback when you're in it.
Yeah, it's been fun to see the curriculum change over the year. The input we've received across the 5 states has been incredible. And so this is really the voice of all the leadership in the existing states. And it's fun to see it come together.
Well, thank you all, and we appreciate your you joining us today. And if you think of questions that that come up after we've ended, you can certainly email us at trdirect@tulane.edu.
Or R6leadership@tulane.edu. That's also in the chat pane. All that information is on the website. So if you do have questions, feel free to reach out to us.
Yeah, I urge you to go to that website, and you can sift through there. And if you have other questions, we're very open to answering them. Okay, well, thank you for joining us today, and we appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing some more applications.